Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Monday, Moon Day, July 31st, last day in July. And the energies in the day adds up and reduce the number 9 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. I think it's interesting how it's the last day in July and the day adds up and reduces the number 9 vibration. So a lot of endings about today. But the big question is, do we have what it takes to release and let go and be ready for the unknown? The lion is the spirit animal. So when the lion spirit walks into my world, the lion spirit brings me to the importance of laughter, playfulness, pride, community, but more than anything, courage. Without courage, nothing is possible. So I think about the lion and courage and how the lion is looking towards the future. It's ready. And I think about, say, a life without courage. Like a life without courage to me is like a life that's not being lived. It's like a life that was never lived, a life without courage. I feel like a life without courage is a life that feels like, a life that's lived as the property of others, even if others didn't know that they own you. To me, a life without courage. Because a life without courage, we're checking with everyone else to get permission before we do things. A life without courage says that there's so much that we want to explore, so much that we want to do, but it was only a thought. We never allowed ourselves to even take a chance on it. So to me, something about courage. And a good question to ask yourself today is, do you live your life courageously? What would your life look like? How would your life change if you were to apply more courage in your life? If you were more courageous about the things that you want, the things that you're trying to create for yourself, what would your life look like? How would your life look opposed to how it is now if you were more courageous, if you applied more courage in your life? How would your life change? What will your life look like? That's a good question to ask yourself, because if you're living a life with absolutely no courage, how could we call it? How could we call ourselves living? It feels more to me like existing. When it comes to the tarot, we have the 8 of Wands in the reversal position. And the 8 of Wands, the number 8 deals with systems and cycles. The Wand energy deals with action, motivation. The Wand energy is a fiery energy, just like the Lion energy. When I think about the 8 of Wands in reversal position, I think about some kind of a system or a cycle being held up or coming to an end. I think about, say, someone being a part of some kind of a system or cycle, or had an idea to move forward on something, and then there's some kind of an obstruction, there's some kind of a detour, there's some kind of a restriction. But with the Lion energy, I'm getting the importance of like pushing past. I'm getting pushing past the obstacles. I'm not saying to go towards the path of resistance, but at the same time, I'm getting with the 8 of Wands, you might be perceiving something as some kind of a resistance, when really it's the universe's way of trying to redirect you. It's not the universe's way of saying give up. It's not the universe's way of saying quit, but it's the universe's way of saying stop, reflect on your situation, and see what you could do different. is what I'm getting. Because with today being Monday, Moon Day, Monday is a day that's normally an emotional day because it's ruled by the moon's energy. And whenever we are on a Monday, to me, Monday is a portal energy day where it's a good day for nurturing. On Monday, I like to water my plants. On Mondays, I like to do different ritual works, nurturing myself, whether it's journaling or different exercises or grounding myself or different things like that. Everybody don't always have the luxury to tend to themselves and focus on themselves on Mondays because they're out and about and they're on their way to work and they're interacting with different people. Different people's needs take precedence over theirs, so a lot of us could find ourselves feeling drained and exhausted on Mondays because, the most important part of ourselves, our inner world, needs our attention, but we weren't able to give ourselves that attention. So it's like we're operating from a place, we're operating on half empty, is how I think it is when we don't, stop to nurture ourselves on Mondays. But even if, say, today's a day where you're working, maybe on your way to work, instead of, say, having, loud music or certain music to distract yourself on the path to work or watching certain videos or different things that don't nurture you, maybe on your way to work or on your break would be a great time to maybe sit in silence and do some reflection, or sit in silence and say some positive affirmations. Sit in silence and pretty much reflect on where you are and how far you've come, and pat yourself on the back. Sit in silence and ask yourself, what do I need to feel nurtured in this moment? Or on your break time, pull out a piece of paper and write down what you're grateful for or why you're so proud of yourself, or something new you want to do for yourself because you deserve it. Because a lot of us find it hard to treat ourselves because we feel like we need to accomplish certain major things first. Where for me, major accomplishments are simple things like you choosing not to bite your coworker's head off today because they tried you, where before the old you would have let them have it and the new you was able to take a deep breath and realize that their ass is crazy and their behavior has nothing to do with you. Like, that calls for a celebration. That's a sign of growth. That's a sign of evolution. It's like sometimes we focus so much on things needing to be so big opposed to focusing on the small things that are actually bigger than the things that we call big. Because when we're able to grow emotionally like that, we can do anything. I think of how T.D. Jakes says that the gift and the gifted are two different things. So you could have a gift that takes you places, but if you're not mature enough to go to the places that your gifts take you, then it's so easy for you to lose everything because you weren't mature enough to sit at those tables. So I think about the importance of celebrating yourself today and reflecting on how much you've grown emotionally, spiritually. And the moon is in Capricorn. And with the moon in Capricorn, the moon is in a place that could be super sensitive for a lot of us, as Capricorn energy deals with responsibility. And I think about moon in Capricorn energy where it's like, those people tend to take on the responsibility of everyone around them or within their family. These are the people that have dreams, big dreams and goals to one day rescue and save their whole family. And I think that's so admirable. And I used to have dreams and goals like that until I realized that the people around me also have dreams and goals for themselves. And it's actually selfish for me to plan on how I want their life and experience to be because I love them so much. And an example of that might be the person who, say, comes in on millions of dollars and they've been dreaming about like showering the ones they love with all this money. And they come in on the millions of dollars and they shower the ones that I got a better example. I think about the man who became a millionaire and from coming in on all that money and bringing it into the lives of his children. And then I think 2 of his sons had a drug overdose or something like that from all that money. I don't believe money is bad. I believe money is an energy. But I think about sometimes how some people have to go through whatever it is that they're going through so they can mature to the point to be able to handle certain things. And when we are so ambitious and self-centered to a certain extent where we feel like, we want it's up to us to do this and that and the next for certain people in our lives, we could take away people's motivation, because once we throw all that money or whatever on them, like they lose whatever they had before that was pushing them to achieve certain things for themselves. I remember one time I was saying to a family member, like, I can't wait to do this, 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 and this, and this for, you know, people in the family. And the person looked at me and said, don't you think that people have dreams for themselves? And that's when it clicked for me. The moon conjuncts Pluto. So with the moon conjunct Pluto is kind of similar to the moon in Scorpio, as Pluto brings in feelings of power struggles, the need for control, and our inner world could be battling back and forth with power struggles and the need for control. The moon conjunct Pluto oppose the sun in Leo. So with that opposition, I think about, say, Capricorn energy and how it deals with responsibility, family, responsibility for the masses, or responsibility for your family, but being in a position of authority. I think of Leo energy, that's also an authoritative energy, but how Leo energy is more of like a playful, childlike energy, where of course Leo energy can turn into something more vicious and aggressive. But I think about the childlike, creative aspect of it, or even the selfishness of Leo energy, meaning the I am, the focus on the self, where Capricorn energy is focused on, say, the traditions or the collective, like leading the collective, being in charge of the collective type of energy. So when I think about the opposition, I think about coming to a nice common ground, coming to the middle of both energies. And to me, the way to come to the middle ground of both energies is, say, with the Leo energy, allowing ourselves to creatively express ourselves in a way that is true to ourselves. And with the Capricorn energy, doing it in a way and creatively expressing ourselves and taking responsibility for things that we know is our responsibility, and not allow others to tell us what we should be responsible for. Because with Capricorn energy, to me, this is where we let others tell us what we should be responsible for, where we feel the burden to carry on the legacy of our family. And some people might say that's the problem with today. People are so selfish, where everybody's focusing on themselves, where back in the day, people were more focused on the family name, the family legacy, and things like that. But I mean, how did we get here? Like, if all of that worked so well and it was the best way to do, like, how did we get here? I look at how today we're having a grand earth trine. And with a grand earth trine brings me to say how Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo are all working together today. And with the grand earth trine, it brings me to the importance of practicality. It brings me to the importance of traditions and the past. I think of, with the grand earth trine, how most of us are focusing on practical ways to make things happen. And the issue with that is, if our heart is not in it, it won't even matter, because security, stability is all that matters right now. So that's some of the challenges that I see. So it's like, even with, say, something like a grand earth trine in someone's chart, which is such a positive aspect, something like that can get in the way of someone going after what's important to them. It gets in the way of them going after what's important to them because that positive aspect doesn't create any pressure. And I think about how resistance builds muscles. So from a grand trine, whether it's earth, whatever, but mainly from a grand earth trine, within one's chart, they might end up in a situation where they never experience enough resistance to build muscle. So it's like they're stagnant in a situation where they never get to live from a place of courage, because they were never pressed. So they never had to stand up and fight with that grand earth trine, or they want to do something different, but there's so much pressure from the practicality of life, the practical ways of doing things. I feel like a grand earth trine could be really, really tough for the person who has this grand earth trine, and this trine includes like the sun and the moon in it. The sun and the moon in it aspecting other things, like, say, Jupiter. I feel like from that combination, that could create a situation for a person where it's like they want more, but they're not challenged enough to do more. So a lot of us will complain about how hard life is and this, that, and the next. But I found from personal experience, it is from those challenges and it's from, my back being against the wall and feeling like there is no other way or there's no support. Those are the things that push me to make things happen. So a lot of us might not realize that it's actually a blessing in disguise, those squares and oppositions and different things that we're experiencing within our charts. So today, Moon Day, the day is the 31st. The number 3 is a restless, childlike, expressive energy. The number 1 deals with thoughts and ideas. So on a day like today, we could find ourselves, and instead of surrendering and accepting, what's no longer working and what's no longer working, and allowing, the chips to fall where they may type of vibe, we could find ourselves going back and forth with different ideas, trying to hold on to something that is no longer worth holding on to. And the day, the 31st, 3 plus 4 adds up and reduces to number 4 vibration. And of course, with the number 4 energy, the number 4 energy, like Capricorn energy, is a very hardworking energy. So with the moon in Capricorn and the day adding up to the number 4 being the 31st, this is where we can find different things come up around our stability, our security. Just while we're in July in the 7th year, this is going to be a theme. So if you find yourself feeling blah and feeling like things are so slow and worrying about your financial situation, I feel like this is a season where we learn the importance of saving or preparing for times like this. I think about how animals or squirrels hide away nuts so they can have them later. I feel like within the 7th year, some people might find that they're tapping into certain savings or tapping into certain resources, or wish they had a savings to tap into. But of course, another 7th year will come, if we're blessed to live to see it. So we can learn from this one. So when the next experience come, we're more prepared for it. Or we enter into a 7th month where we're better prepared for it. So yeah, a day like today, different things will come up that challenges our security and our ability to feel safe. But my thing is courage. There's something about courage that needs to be applied in order to create whatever it is that you're trying to create for yourself, and also to the system, something about the system that you're working with, because success is not a secret. Success is a system. So if you find yourself failing in any area of your life, something about the system is off. So when it comes to today's a day where you want to reflect on your system, the system that you're working with in whatever area of your life that you're experiencing challenges, and also too, are you applying enough courage? So a better system and more courage. You guys, such a pleasure sharing this message with you as usual. If you'd like to book a natal chart reading with me, or check out my exclusive weekly content only on Patreon, the links for that are in the description box below. Please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a brown heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.